Pole. He was younger and smaller than the other reindeer there. They all had proud, tall antlers. Rudolph's antlers were very tiny. Worst of all, Rudolph had a nose that was big and bright red. It was so red it glowed in the dark. Poor Rudolph! He wanted to be like the other reindeer in Toyland. The other reindeer made fun of Rudolph and called him names. "Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer," they teased. Before Christmas Eve, Santa's elves posted a sign on the gate to Toyland. All the reindeer were asked to line up at 8 o'clock in the meadow. Santa Claus was coming to choose the team that would deliver presents to every good little boy and girl in the world. The reindeer danced with joy when they heard the news. Each reindeer hoped he would be chosen to guide Santa's sleigh. Rudolph sighed. He did not want Santa to see his bright red nose. At 8 o'clock, when all the reindeer had gone to the meadow, Rudolph hid behind a holly hedge. Behind the thick bush with bright red berries, no one could find Rudolph with his bright red nose. In the meadow, all the reindeer in Toyland, except Rudolph, stood in line while Santa inspected them. Santa chose carefully. Only the fastest, the strongest, and the best reindeer would do. "Dasher is the biggest reindeer," said Santa. "Dasher," wrote his elf assistant in a big book. "And Dancer is the strongest," said Santa, pulling his beard. "Dancer," wrote the elf. "Ho, ho! Let's see," continued Santa. "Prancer and Vixen make the smoothest landings on rooftops. Comet is the fastest and Cupid is the most sure-footed. I pick them. And," said Santa, "I choose Donder and Blitzen. They're best at turning over treetops and landing smoothly." When all the selections were done, the reindeer danced and clinked their antlers together in happiness. Even the reindeer who weren't chosen were given good jobs. One was to try out toy electric trains. Another was to hug Christmas kittens. The only reindeer without a job was Rudolph. He wanted to help, but he knew others would laugh at him. So he stayed behind the holly hedge. At last, it was Christmas Eve. Santa's elves were busy packing the sleigh. "I don't care if they make fun of me," said Rudolph suddenly. "I want to help too." He dashed from his hiding place and went to find Santa. The night was bitter cold, and a terrible fog covered the earth. Santa's elves kept bumping into each other as they hitched up the team. They could hardly see as they put on each bright red harness and tied each jingle bell. "And where is my Christmas list? I can't see a thing in this fog," cried Santa. Just then, a soft red glow lit up the snow. "Thank goodness," said Santa, suddenly jolly again. "I found my list." "Ho, ho! Who brought this fine lantern?" asked Santa. "I must take it with me." "It's not a lantern," said Rudolph shyly. "The light comes from my nose." "Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer," said Santa. "I'm glad to see you. Your light will guide my sleigh tonight. I appoint you head of my team." Rudolph held his head high. Proudly, he walked to the front of the team. All the other reindeer bowed. Donder and Dancer helped Rudolph put on his harness. Then, down, down, through the clouds and over the sleeping houses, Santa and his team flew on the foggy Christmas Eve, and leading the whole procession was Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.